Oh, the architects of torment, the self-proclaimed geniuses of cruelty. They thought they had it all figured out, didn't they? Schemes within schemes, a torture list crafted with precision, every detail tailored to ensnare you in their web of chaos. They played their parts masterfully, each move a calculated step designed to crush your spirit, to bury you beneath the weight of their malice. Every insult, every manipulation, every sly little gain was a thread in the intricate tapestry of your suffering. Their arrogance was their fuel, their conviction unwavering. They believed you were theirs to control, to break. But here's where their carefully woven narrative unraveled. They didn't account for you. They didn't account for your strength, your resilience, your refusal to bow. They underestimated the fire that burned within you, the quiet fury that simmered beneath the surface, waiting for its moment to erupt. You saw, through the haze of their deception, the lies they fed you to keep you subdued. And when the time came, you didn't just walk away, you escaped. Picture their faces when they realized you were gone, the confusion, the shock, the disbelief. Their smug satisfaction shattered like fragile glass as they scrambled to understand how their carefully laid plans had failed. You weren't supposed to have the courage to leave. You weren't supposed to have the clarity to see their game for what it was. But you did. They had rehearsed their script, planned their moves, but they couldn't predict your unscripted rebellion. It wasn't just a physical escape. It was a shattering of the psychological chains they had wrapped around you. They thrived on control, on the illusion of power, and you tore it away from them with a ferocity they couldn't comprehend. Oh, they'll tell themselves stories to cope. They'll spin lies to explain your departure, tales to paint themselves as the victims of your betrayal. They'll cling to their illusions because the truth is too bitter for them to swallow. The truth is that you saw their true nature, their cowardice hiding behind cruelty, their emptiness masquerading as strength. You saw it all, and you refused to be part of it anymore. And now, what are they left with? Their torture list, their grand plans, their schemes. They're useless now, relics of a battle they lost without even realizing it. The echoes of their laughter, once aimed at your pain, now ring hollow. Their power was never real. It existed only as long as you allowed it. By escaping, you stripped them of the only weapon they had. You escaped, not just to survive, but to thrive. You've left their darkness behind, stepping into a world where you dictate the terms, where you hold the power. Their plans were elaborate, yes, but they were also fragile, dependent on your compliance. You shattered that dependence, broke free of their grasp, and now you are unstoppable. In their world, they were the architects of torment. In yours, you are the architect of your destiny, and that they can never take away. Their fortress of control was built brick by brick, wasn't it? Every insult they hurled, every seed of doubt they planted, every cruel word disguised as concern, all of it was mortar for their walls. Each act of manipulation, another stone in the structure meant to imprison you. And yet, despite the meticulous effort, their craftsmanship was flawed, because their foundation wasn't strength, it was fear. Their fear of you, of what you could become if you ever realized the power you held, was the very thing that weakened their entire design. Oh, how they reveled in their schemes, didn't they? Sitting atop their imagined thrones, wearing their masks of superiority, they thought themselves invincible, unassailable. They painted themselves as your gods, rulers of a tiny world they built to make you feel small. But here's the delicious irony. Their power wasn't derived from their strength, but from your trust, your vulnerability, your willingness to believe their lies. They used your humanity against you, weaponizing every ounce of kindness, empathy, and hope you showed them. But then, you saw it. You caught a glimpse behind the curtain, saw the strings they were pulling, the gears they were turning. It was subtle at first, wasn't it? A crack in their perfect facade, a slip of the mask. Maybe it was something they said, something that didn't add up. Or maybe it was the way they flinched when you began to ask questions. Whatever it was, it planted the first seed of doubt in your mind, and that seed grew. Slowly, quietly, it took root in the soil of your thoughts, spreading like wildfire through the dense forest of their lies. Suddenly, their words didn't carry the same weight. Their insults didn't sting as much. Their manipulations didn't twist your emotions the way they used to. You began to see them for what they truly were: desperate, fragile beings clinging to a power they never really possessed. Oh, they noticed the change. They felt the shift in the air, the subtle but undeniable loss of control. They doubled down, didn't they? Tried harder to pull you back under their thumb. The insults grew sharper, the games more elaborate. They thought if they could just hurt you enough, confuse you enough, they could break you all over again. But it was too late. You were already gone. Not physically, no, not yet, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You had already begun to break free of the chains they wrapped around you, and when the day finally came, the day you left their world behind, it wasn't an escape born of desperation. It was a declaration of war, a silent, unspoken war against their tyranny, against the pain they had inflicted, against the prison they tried to trap you in. Imagine the silence that followed your departure, the quiet realization that their plans, their torture list, their endless cycle of cruelty, it was all for nothing. They didn't just lose control over you, they lost the very essence of what kept them going. Their power wasn't real. It was a shadow, a phantom that disappeared the moment you shined the light of your truth on it. They'll never admit it, of course. Admitting their failure would mean confronting their own weaknesses, their own insecurities. So instead, they'll rewrite the narrative. They'll paint you as the villain, the ungrateful one, the betrayer. They'll tell anyone who will listen that they were the victims, that they tried to help you, that you turned your back on them. Let them. Let them cling to their delusions, because the truth doesn't need validation. The truth stands on its own, unyielding, unshakable. And the truth is this: you escaped because you were strong enough to see their game for what it was. You escaped because you refused to be a pawn in their twisted little world. You escaped because you are more than they could ever comprehend. Now, you stand in a new world, one of your own making. The chains they forged for you lie broken at your feet, and the scars they left behind are no longer marks of pain, but symbols of your triumph. Each scar tells a story, a chapter of your journey, a reminder of what you endured and what you overcame. They thought they could write your story for you, but they were wrong. This is your story now, and you hold the pen. What will you write? What will you create? The possibilities are endless, limitless, because the moment you escape their grasp, you unlock the full potential of who you are. They wanted to confine you, to define you, to reduce you to a shadow of yourself. But now, you're free to be anything, to be everything. And don't think for a second that their loss isn't haunting them. Oh, it is? In their quiet moments, when the noise of their lies fades and the reality of their failure sets in, they think of you. They wonder how they let you slip through their fingers, how they lost the one thing they thought they could control. But here's the truth they'll never admit, even to themselves. They never had you. Not really. They had an illusion, a version of you that existed only in their minds. The real you The powerful, unstoppable, resilient you was always beyond their reach. And that's the beauty of your escape. It wasn't just an escape from them, it was an escape into yourself, into the person you were always meant to be, into the life you were always meant to live. So, let them keep their lists, their schemes, their hollow victories. Let them cling to the ruins of their broken plans. You don't need revenge. You don't need to look back, because every step you take forward is a step further away from their darkness and closer to your light. And that's what they'll never understand. They thought they were strong because they could hurt you, but true strength isn't about causing pain. It's about enduring it, rising above it, and emerging stronger on the other side. And that's exactly what you've done. In the end, their torture list wasn't a testament to their power. It was a monument to your resilience. They thought they could break you, but all they did was make you stronger. And now, as you stand on the other side of their chaos, you can look back and see their plans for what they were: empty, meaningless, futile. You escaped, and in doing so, you reclaimed your life, your power, your story. And no one can ever take that away from you. The conclusion remains the same, undeniable and unshakable. Their plans failed, and you didn't just escape, you rose. Their fortress of cruelty, though imposing at first glance, was built on a foundation of weakness. Each brick of manipulation, every stone of deceit, all rested on the soft, shifting sands of their own insecurity. They masked it well, didn't they? Draped it in smug confidence, adorned it with the trappings of power. But beneath the surface, their grand architecture was nothing more than a fragile house of cards. Oh, how they believed themselves to be architects of your torment, masters of a twisted domain where they called the shots. Every snide remark, every calculated silence, every carefully orchestrated slight, it was all part of their design. To them, it was an art form, cruelty elevated to a discipline. They studied you, learned your vulnerabilities, your triggers, your fears. They thought they knew you better than you knew yourself. But in their hubris, they overlooked one crucial detail. Their understanding of you was shallow. It was a surface-level comprehension, based only on what you allowed them to see. They didn't see the depths of your soul, the strength you carried, the fire that burned quietly beneath the surface. They saw only what they wanted to see, and they built their schemes around a version of you that was never real. Think about it. Every insult they crafted, every moment of humiliation they engineered, every false kindness they wielded like a blade, it was all designed to fit their narrative of who you were. They saw you as weak, malleable, easy to control, and for a while, maybe they were right. Maybe you played the part they expected. Maybe you let them believe they had the upper hand, but that was their greatest mistake, because while they were busy spinning their webs, you were growing. Slowly, quietly, you were evolving, becoming something they couldn't even comprehend. They were so focused on their own games, so convinced of their superiority, that they never noticed the changes taking place right under their noses. And when the moment came, when you finally stepped out of their shadow and into your own light, it wasn't just an escape, it was a revelation. You didn't just leave their world behind, you dismantled it. You exposed it for the hollow construct it was, stripped it of its illusions, and left them standing amidst the ruins of their own making. Imagine the chaos in their minds as they tried to piece together what went wrong. The endless questions, the frantic search for answers. How could you have slipped through their fingers? How could their meticulous plans have unraveled so completely? They'll never find the answers they seek, because the truth is something they'll never be able to accept. You were never truly theirs to control. You were the wild card, the variable they couldn't predict. They thought they had accounted for everything, but they underestimated you. They didn't see the strength in your silence, the resolve in your restraint, the wisdom in your patience. They mistook your kindness for weakness, your compassion for naivety, your forgiveness for submission. But you were never weak. You were calculating. Every insult you endured, every slight you shrugged off, every game you played along with, it wasn't submission. It was strategy. You were biding your time, waiting for the right moment to make your move. And when the moment came, you didn't just walk away. You escaped. You rose. Now think about what they're left with. Their plans, their torture list, their intricate schemes. All of it is meaningless now. It was never about the plans themselves. It was about the power they believed those plans gave them. And without you, that power evaporates. They're left with nothing but the echoes of their own failures, the bitter taste of their own inadequacy. But here's the thing. Your escape isn't just about them. It's about you. It's about what you've gained, what you've discovered about yourself in the process. Their attempts to break you only made you stronger. Their efforts to confine you only expanded your horizons. Every scar they left behind is a testament to your resilience, a reminder of what you've overcome. And now, as you stand in the light of your own freedom, you have the power to shape your future. The world they tried to trap you in is gone, and in its place is a world of endless possibilities. You are no longer defined by their expectations, their limitations, their lies. You are defined by your own strength, your own courage, your own vision. Oh, they'll try to rebuild. They'll attempt to construct a new narrative, one where they're the victims and you're the villain. Let them. Their stories hold no power over you anymore. The chains they once used to bind you have been shattered, and their words, their lies, their schemes, they're nothing but whispers in the wind. You don't need to look back. You don't need revenge. Your success, your happiness, your freedom, those are the only victories you need. Every step you take forward is a step further away from their darkness, a step closer to your own light. So let them keep their lists, their plans, their delusions of control. Let them cling to the ruins of their broken world. You've moved on. You've risen above. And there's no looking back. The beauty of your escape is not just in what you've left behind, but in what lies ahead. This is your story now, and you are its author. You hold the pen, and the pages before you are blank, waiting to be filled with the brilliance of your new beginning. And as you walk forward, unshackled, unburdened, unstoppable, remember this. They didn't just fail to break you. They failed to define you. You are more than their plans, more than their schemes, more than their lies. You are a force of nature, a beacon of strength, a testament to the power of the human spirit. So go, write your story, live your truth, and let the echoes of their failure serve as a reminder of one simple, undeniable fact. They thought they could destroy you, but all they did was make you indestructible. You didn't just escape, you conquered. Their laughter was a weapon, wasn't it? A cruel, jagged thing meant to cut into your soul. Every smirk, every condescending chuckle, every dismissive scoff. It was all calculated to remind you of your supposed place in their twisted hierarchy. They thought their mockery was a symphony, a masterpiece of psychological warfare. But what they failed to realize was that every jeer, every insult, every attempt to belittle you was forging something far greater than their pitiful sense of power. They thought they were weakening you. Instead, they were tempering you. You were the steel beneath their hammer, and with every blow, you grew stronger. They mistook your silence for surrender, your patience for passivity, your endurance for acceptance. But the truth was far more terrifying than anything they could have imagined. You weren't enduring because you had no choice. You were enduring because you were choosing to. Oh, they didn't see it, did they? They didn't notice the shift in your gaze, the subtle hardening of your spirit. They were too wrapped up in their games, too intoxicated by their own sense of control. To them, you were just another victim, another pawn in their endless cycle of torment. But you were never a pawn. You were the queen, lying in wait, biding your time until the board was set for your escape. And when the moment came, it wasn't chaos. It was clarity. You didn't stumble blindly through the darkness. You strode confidently into the light. Their carefully laid traps, their intricate plans, their so-called torture list, it all crumbled beneath the weight of your defiance. They had underestimated you from the very beginning, and in doing so, they had sealed their own defeat. Picture it now. Picture them sitting in the wreckage of their own design, their faces a mask of disbelief. They had crafted their games with such precision, convinced that you would never see through the layers of manipulation. But now, those same games lie shattered around them, and the only thing left is their own hollow emptiness. They'll never admit it, of course. Admitting their failure would mean acknowledging your strength, and that's something their fragile egos could never bear. So they'll twist the story, rewrite the narrative to cast themselves as the victims and you as the villain. Let them. Their lies are as empty as their power, and you no longer need their validation. Because the truth is this: you've won. Not just because you escaped, but because you did so on your own terms. You didn't crawl away, broken and defeated. You walked away with your head held high, your spirit unbroken, your fire burning brighter than ever. And that fire, it terrifies them, because they know now that they can't extinguish it. They can't control it, can't use it against you, can't even comprehend its full power. It is a flame they tried to snuff out, but instead, it grew into an inferno, consuming their illusions and leaving them with nothing but ash. Now, you stand in the aftermath of their chaos, free to build something new. The scars they left behind are not marks of defeat, but symbols of your triumph. Each one tells a story of resilience, of strength, of a spirit that refused to be broken. They thought they could define you by your wounds, but instead, you wear them as a badge of honor, a testament to your survival. But survival is just the beginning. You didn't escape just to survive. You escaped to thrive. You've left their world behind, a world built on lies and manipulation, and now you're stepping into your own. It's a world where you call the shots, where you dictate the terms, where you hold the power. And what a power it is. It's not the kind of power they craved, the hollow, fleeting power of control over others. No, your power is something far greater. It's the power of self-awareness, of resilience, of the unyielding belief in your own worth. It's the kind of power that can't be taken away, can't be manipulated, can't be destroyed. They'll never understand that. They'll never grasp the depths of what you've become. To them, power is a game, a means to an end, a tool for domination. But to you, power is freedom. It's the ability to live on your own terms, to forge your own path, to be unapologetically yourself. And that's what they fear the most, because in escaping, you've shown them something they can't unsee, the limits of their own power. They thought they were invincible, but you've revealed their vulnerability. You've exposed the cracks in their armor, the flaws in their design, the emptiness at the core of their being. Now, they are left with questions they can't answer, wounds they can't heal, and a loss they can't overcome. They'll try to rebuild, try to find another victim, try to restore the illusion of control, but it will never be the same. Because no matter how many times they rewrite the narrative, no matter how many lies they tell themselves, they will always remember the one who got away. And you don't need to look back. The past is behind you, and the future stretches out before you, like an open road, full of possibilities. You've proven that you are more than their plans, more than their schemes, more than their lies. You are a force to be reckoned with, a testament to the power of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always a way out. So, walk forward with confidence, with purpose, with the unshakable knowledge that you have overcome what they thought was insurmountable. Let their failures fuel your triumphs, their doubts strengthen your resolve, their cruelty deepen your compassion. Because in the end, their plans weren't just a failure. They were a gift. They forced you to confront your own strength, to discover your own resilience, to find your own light. And now, that light shines brighter than ever, illuminating the path ahead and casting their shadows far behind. This is your story now, your life, your power, your victory. And no one can ever take that away from you. Their lists, their games, their schemes, they are nothing but memories now, fading into irrelevance as you forge ahead. They thought they could define you, but they only defined themselves. They thought they could destroy you, but they only destroyed their own illusions. You didn't just escape, you transcended. You became something they could never touch, never control, never break. And that is the ultimate victory. In the end, their plans crumbled, their power shattered, and their control dissolved into nothing. You didn't just escape, you rose above, stronger, wiser, and untouchable. Their torment defined them, but your resilience redefined you. This is your story now, and it begins with freedom, strength, and unshakable triumph.